guys, you're incredible to work with, and thank you for taking care of all of these folks. Broadway in Cincinnati is very fortunate to have two fantastic title sponsors, Fifth Third Bank and Tri-Health. Both, sure, go on, give it up. Both organizations are incredibly supportive of what we do, and we couldn't do it without them. Thank you, Fifth Third, for being with us since day one, and Tri-Health for all that you do for us and for the community. As many of you know, every year when you renew your subscription, there's an optional $5 donation per seat. That money goes to our education fund. Your admission tonight was also a donation to that fund, but what you may not know is exactly where that money goes. Through our education fund, Tri-State teachers, most with a certain percentage of students who qualify for free and reduced lunch, can apply to get free or deeply subsidized tickets to a show. Over these 20-plus years, we've hosted thousands and thousands of kids, and in recent years, even more. So thank you for your generosity. I want to take a moment tonight to introduce to you one of those teachers who receives those tickets. He can tell you what a difference you have made for local kids. Michael Armstrong is a language arts teacher at Hartwell School in Cincinnati Public. He recently brought a class of 6th, 7th, and 8th graders to see The Lion King. Please join me in welcoming Michael.
Thank you so much. That's awesome.
Thank you, Leslie, and thank you all so much. I'm so happy to have this opportunity to talk about what was one of my favorite days of teaching. So The Lion King and Broadway in Cincinnati were kind enough to schedule a weekday matinee so that we could bring all our wonderful kids to see The Lion King. And they may not have expected to see their beloved English teacher crying in the first 10 seconds of The Lion King, but that did actually happen. And then the show itself, of course, is so amazing, the costuming, the music, and most of which is sort of familiar to them, but it opens up a whole other world that they could see. And yes, it was my first time seeing the musical as well, and there was all the other wonderful stuff that happens with that and more crying. But at intermission, this was the part that messed me up the most, was the numbers of kids I had coming up to me and saying, "Thank you. Thank you for making this happen, Mr. Armstrong." I was like, it wasn't me, actually. It was all of you. And we're starting a new theater program at our school as well, and I've got several budding actors and singers and dancers, and some of them got to come to the show as well, and they loved it. And I've got several folks who are coming to me and said, "This is what I'm going to do. I'm doing this. This is what I'm going to do with my life." And as a teacher, I've given my life to helping these kids try to find their vision and to see kids actually find that and see it and actually come to me and tell me that. It's a gift I can never, ever repay you for. Being a school, Hartwell, we're a little school, big heart. We are 100% free lunch, and our kids don't necessarily have those opportunities very often. What they really don't have an opportunity to see is a cast that looks mostly like they do, doing something amazing that's not necessarily sports or music. And you have broadened their horizons, you have improved their lives, and you gave us a gift. You gave me a gift, and you gave those kids a gift. And I am eternally grateful to you. So to you, thank you so much.
Thank you, Michael. And just so you know, the kind of cool thing about tonight is with all the donations that you contributed, you've sent at least another 125 kids to a Broadway show. So if you know a teacher who could benefit from this fund, please let us know or tell them to call us. We'd love to try to take care of them. And thank you so much for making a difference in kids' lives. So, I see the hook is coming. I've said a lot of thank you so far, but the biggest thank you of all really goes to all of you, our subscribers and group leaders. Without your loyalty and support, we just couldn't do it. We have a national reputation. Cincinnati is well known across the Broadway land and across the country. We have a great reputation for having some of the most loyal subscribers and best audiences in the country, and that makes touring shows want to come here first. We are so grateful for your support of Broadway and your trust in us season after season, so thank you. Okay, the hook is coming. Let's get down to business. It's my honor and privilege to introduce our MCs for tonight's reveal. From the Inquirer's Facebook channel, Coffee Talk with Catherine, a local face you know and love, the fabulous Catherine Nero. And joining Catherine is Broadway Across America's President of Marketing from New York, our very own Bob Bucci. Thank you.
How are we doing, Cincinnati? Are we ready for tonight?
All right, how many of you were here last year? How many of you came? You braved a tornado last year. This year, no such dice, right? A little bit easier this time around. I'll tell you, though, you will be just as excited for this year's lineup as you were last year. Just fantastic.
Yeah, we are so excited to be part of a series that has brought 33 seasons of Broadway tours right here to the Queen City. That's pretty impressive, right? And we are going to add to that legacy because we have quite a fantastic lineup tonight, which will be revealed tonight.
Okay, so here's the deal. This is the moment where we say, don't put up your phones. Get them out. I want to see them. I want to see those glowing screens. We will never say this in a theater again. There you go. I see you back there. All right, here's the deal. We want you to tweet this stuff and Instagram it. We want you to Snapchat it. We want you to Facebook it. Everything, okay? We want all of this out there as quickly as possible to get people as excited. See, look, you guys, look, you're following directions. This is awesome. Congratulations. Good work. Good work. This is going to be a good night.
Right. I want to know who out there TikToks. Anybody TikTok? You're going to have to explain to me how the hell it works because I have no idea. But I'm glad that you do it. Look, this conversation keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and we want you to be a part of it. So please always make sure that you use this hashtag #BroadwayCincy in everything that you post so that we can follow along tonight as well as all season long. So,
are we
ready? Are you ready? Yes. Okay. Well, we are now going to announce the 8 national touring Broadway shows that are going to be gracing the Aronoff stages tonight. But we do have to tell you, full disclosure, in putting this together, we actually are going to reveal them out of order. But don't worry, we have a flyer in the lobby that lists all of the shows in order with their dates that you can pick up on your way out.
So basically, like half of you are like, wait a minute, I need them in order. This means something really good is coming last. I'm just going to throw that out there, okay?
It could be. It could be.
Just telling you right now. Okay, shall we?
Yes.
Shall we begin? You ready for the first one? All right. Your first show of the 2021 season is big, huge.
That's right. It's a hot new Broadway adaptation that, you know, is part of one of the most romantic comedies ever.
Any guesses yet? Okay, Cincinnati audiences, you are going to get to fall in love all over again with the contemporary fairy tale Pretty Woman, the musical.
Welcome to Hollywood. What's your dream? Pretty woman.
Guys, this is so exciting. This musical features direction and choreographer by the 2-time Tony Award winner, Jerry Mitchell. Okay, Cincinnati, yes, let's hear it for Jerry Mitchell. Cincinnati audiences will know his work from Kinky Boots and Legally Blonde. Okay, yeah, Kinky Boots and Legally Blonde. So it also has an original score by Grammy winners Bryan Adams and Jim Vallance. You guys know who Bryan Adams and Jim Vallance are, right? They wrote The Summer of '69. You have to know who they are. And it has a book by the legendary director of the film, Gary Marshall, and screenwriter J.F. Lawton.
So here's the deal. We could sit here and talk about it all night, but we decided instead you were deserving of a treat, right? So tonight we are very lucky to have Jessica Crouch. She's here to sing one of these fantastic Bryan Adams, Jim Vallance songs from the musical. Now this musical, or this song, takes place in Act 2 when Vivian is ready to go forward and sees her dreams. So let's please welcome Jessica performing I Can't Go Back. Jessica.
You make me happy, you know just what to say. But I ain't Cinderella, would wanna be anyway. Of all the things I wanted, one thing I never got was to be treated like somebody. Just to have one shot, I can't go back. No, I can't go back. But now you got me thinking about working on a dream. I'm not quite there yet, I'm somewhere in between. I hear you talking, how I deserve the best. A voice inside my head keeps saying, don't settle for less, I can't go back. I've seen a different world, I can't go back. I'm a different girl, I can't go back to who I was before, I can't go back. I always wanted more, I have regrets, but I can't change the past. I want the real thing, is that too much to ask? For the first time in my life, it gets to be my choice. I feel I found myself, yeah, I found my voice, I can't go back. I've seen a different world, I can't go back. I'm a different girl, I can't go back to who I was before, I can't go back. I always wanted more. I can see my future in all my plans. I'm gonna be okay. This is who I am. It's true I sold my body, but he never sold my soul. I've learned I don't need anyone, it's me who's in control. They can take away my innocence, but they can't erase my pride. I've seen a better life, I've seen the other side. I can't go back. I've seen a different world, I can't go back. I'm a different girl, I can't go back to who I was before, I can't go back. I can't go back. No, I can't go back.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jessica Crouch, come over and sit and talk to us for a little while. That was fantastic.
Absolutely. We can hear that, Bryan Adams, can't we, right? All right, Jessica, let's talk about this. Tell us, we know the movie, but tell us what we can expect when we see this on the stage at the Aronoff.
So fans of the movie will be very happy because we hit all of those iconic movie moments that you love about it, and we do that in the musical. But what's really great is we have this awesome music added to it where you really get to know the characters a little bit more and see inside them.
So you talk about the fact that it hits all those moments. What new can our audiences here expect from this becoming a musical?
Yes, well, the big thing is the Bryan Adams music. I think everyone who knows Bryan Adams knows that he can write a pop ballad, and you can definitely hear that, as well as some really fun, up-tempo, catchy tunes that will have you like leaving humming and singing the songs. And then some like surprising moments. I think one of my favorite points in the show is the opera, when they go to the opera. We actually do parts of La Traviata in it as mixed with Bryan Adams' music, which makes this like really beautiful moment on stage.
Excellent. I'm going to date myself when I tell you my very first date was going to see Pretty Woman, the movie. Okay? That didn't work out too well. I'm just letting you know. But my point is, what I remember about the movie, not the guy, but it was the beautiful dresses. You remember the dresses, right? The costumes. Let's talk about those. There's some very iconic dresses
yes,
there.
we definitely hit those. We add a little twist to a few of them, but we make all the movie fans happy, staying true to those. But then we also have like a number, Rodeo Drive, where you see some like really iconic 90s fashion. That's, I mean, your jaws will be dropped by those costumes.
So talk to us a little bit about the character of Vivian and the character of Edward. What do you think makes the two of them resonate so much with people?
Yeah, I mean, it really is amazing how this movie continues to be so loved throughout the years. I think it's 30 years now. And I think it's because it's these two people from very different opposite worlds who are a little bit lost. And through coming together, they find themselves a little bit. Especially Edward. I feel like he's the one who's a little bit more lost than Vivian, especially in our show. Vivian's like totally knows who she is. Edward's the one who kind of like has Vivian, and she really teaches him about life.
It'll be interesting to see a show that we all know in a different way on stage like this. So let me ask you, do you have a favorite part of the musical?
I mean, the opera, as mentioned, and yes, Rodeo Drive. That's just a fun number. The best friend, Kit, sings that, and she rocks the house, for sure.
Well, we just cannot thank you enough for being here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have another
Thank you
wonderful
so much.
round of applause for Jessica.
Thank you.
We're going to take your mic actually.
Jessica, thank you.
Okay. Next up, we have a gorgeous Broadway revival of what Entertainment Weekly calls the most perfect musical of all time, which I have to agree. It's directed by Tony Award winner Bartlett Sher, and you might remember that Bartlett Sher also directed that absolutely beautiful revival from Lincoln Center of King and I that came here in 2018. Anybody get to see that? Right? It was absolutely gorgeous. Well, this production also comes from Lincoln Center.
So yes, it does, and it is, as Bob said, just beautiful, exquisite sets. It is loverly, some might say. Yeah, oh yeah, you may want to be up wanting to dance all night, perhaps. Have you guessed it? It's Lerner and Lowe's My Fair Lady.
This production is so beautiful, and the New York Times called it thrilling, glorious, and better than it ever was. I mean, come on, with classic songs like I Could Have Danced All Night, Wouldn't It Be Lovely, The Rain in Spain, On the Street Where You Live. My Fair Lady, if I'm sure you all know this, was based on George Bernard Shaw's Pygmalion, right? It tells the story of Eliza Doolittle, who is a young Cockney flower girl, and Henry Higgins, the linguistic professor, who is determined to turn her into his version of a proper lady.
So this is a family-friendly classic. It'll make a stop in Cincinnati early in the holiday season, okay? So this is December 1st through 13th. So let's get a sneak peek into what this looks like. You've heard us talk about how beautiful it is. Let's take a look, right? Here's a video of Shireen Ahmed, who plays Eliza in the touring production, singing I Could Have Danced All Night.
Bed, I couldn't go to bed. My head's too light to try to set it down. Sleep, I couldn't sleep tonight, not for all the jewels in the crown. I could have danced all night, I could have danced all night, and still have begged for more. I could have spread my wings and done 1,000 things I've never done before. I'll never know what made it so exciting. have danced all night. I could have danced all night and still have begged for more. I could have spread my wings and done 1,000 things I've never done before. I'll never know what made it so exciting. Why all at once my heart took flight. I only know when he began to dance with me, I could have danced.
I simply loved this production. Sitting in that theater watching this show, which you saw a little bit of it here unfold in front of you, I just sat there thinking, this must have been what it felt like in 1956 when the show premiered on Broadway, right? I mean, it's one of my favorite musicals of all time, and they have given it the royal treatment. The sets and costumes are just beautiful.
And you know, similar to what Jessica mentioned about kind of this revamped Pretty Woman, right? This version of My Fair Lady kind of turns what we know as the traditional story kind of on its ear. So in the traditional one, you know, Henry Hickens kind of pulls Eliza along and wants to make her into what he thinks is a proper lady. Well, in this one, Bartlett Sher kind of reimagines that, and it's more she's in control, and she decides that she wants to be a proper lady, in quotation marks. So it's a modern retelling of a beautiful, beautiful classic.
I agree. Okay, now we know that Broadway in Cincinnati loves that we bring here the Tony Award-winning shows, right? But we really love when we bring the Tony Award winner for Best Musical, okay? So, you know, we have had so many Best Musicals grace this stage, and I'm just going to tell you a few of them because it's actually pretty impressive. Memphis, Once, The Book of Mormon, Kinky Boots, A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder, and of course, we can't forget the recent Dear Evan Hansen, and of course, Hamilton.
Yeah, that's right. Deserves a round of applause there. And this year, you are in luck. There is another Best Musical to share with you here in the Queen City. It's a joyously offbeat story set in a town way off the beaten path where a band of musicians arrive lost out of the blue.
Yes. Under the spell of the desert sky, with music in the air, an Egyptian band brings an Israeli town to life in unexpected and tantalizing ways. It is A Band's Visit.
When you're looking at the story of The Band's Visit, it is beautiful and ordinary. It's entirely about love relationships.
You have beautiful eyes.
Every love story you've ever been involved in your entire life, aspects of it broken into a million pieces. It's deceptively simple.
Is this a hymn? Is this a love song?
That theme of how music connects people and wakes them up and makes them feel a joy that then they can share with another person. We're witnessing that constantly.
He was cool to the marrow, the pharaoh of romance.
I feel this musical is like a very gentle whisper, but so much within happens. And I think this whisper kind of just washes over you, and you're changed by it.
It's about the underlying ocean that connects everybody and everything. To me, the most potent metaphor for that is music.
Once, not long ago, a group of musicians came to Israel from Egypt. You probably didn't hear about it. It wasn't very important.
So this, of course, has a Tony and Grammy Award-winning score that seduces your soul and sweeps you off your feet, I'm told. This is featuring thrillingly talented on-stage musicians, which is always fun to watch. The band's visit rejoices in the way music makes us laugh and cry and ultimately brings us together.
And you know, Catherine, this was one of the most acclaimed musicals ever on Broadway. The critics absolutely loved it, and we wanted to give you a sampling of what they had to say. New York Magazine said, "It doesn't feel like any musical ever. Perfect is the wrong word, but it will just have to do." The New York Times said, and this is one of my favorite quotes, "One of the most ravishing musicals that you'll ever be seduced by." Wall Street Journal said it was the best musical of the year. BuzzFeed said it was the best musical of the decade. And Rolling Stone said it was the best musical ever. I mean, how much better can you get than that?
Those guys never agree.
No, they never do.
So this is good stuff. And tonight, you're going to get to witness this good stuff. We've got a treat for you right now. Please welcome Madison McCucci, Carlo Pelletieri, and Dan Lipton to perform a song from the band's visit.
We used to have here Arab music, Egyptian music on the radio and on TV, Egyptian movies. Every Friday afternoon, these mysterious people who I would never meet, but who came to me through the speakers, through the screen. Kulthum and Omar Sharif came floating on a jasmine wind from the west, from the south, honey in my ears, spice in my mouth, dark and thrilling, strange and sweet, Cleopatra and a handsome thief, and they floated in on a jasmine wind, Kulthum and Omar Sharif, and they floated in on a jasmine wind, Kulthum and Omar Sharif. Friday evening, Omar Sharif, in black and white and blurry through tears. My mother and I would sit there in a trance. He was cool to the marrow, the pharaoh of romance. Sunday morning, Kulthum, her voice would fill our living room. The ship from Egypt always came sailing in on radio waves, and the jasmine wind, deep perfume, Kulthum, and the living room becomes a garden, and the TV set becomes a fountain, and the music flows in the garden, and everything grows. Kulthum and Omar Sharif came floating on a lemon leaf, flying in on a jasmine wind, Kulthum and Omar Sharif, and we danced with them in a jasmine-scented wind, Kulthum
and oh, ma chérie.
Ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause for Madison. That was
Wonderful.
absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you to all of you, the musicians.
Yeah.
And Madison, why don't you come over here and join us, and we'll talk a little bit. We'll chit-chat a little bit, right? So you play Dina in this show. Tell us a little bit about, we saw a little bit about the plot, but from the performer's perspective.
Well, it was a joy to be part of this production because it's unlike a lot of musicals that I've been involved with in that it's so small in terms of the intimacy of the moments, and it doesn't rely on a lot of the bells and whistles that a lot of American musicals have in terms of, you know, dance numbers and flashy sets. It's really about the conversations and even what's not said. So it's stylistically just a departure from what I've done, and that was a really great experience.
And the actual story, it takes place over 24 hours. And these people come into each other's lives, and so much changes. And one of the things that I think helps them change is the music. The music is so special in the show, and what you just sang was so gorgeous. Can you talk a little bit about the music and the role that it plays in the show?
The music is really the heartbeat of the show, not only because it's a musical, but because that is the crux of what brings two very unlikely strangers together in a sort of intimate, albeit fleeting way. And the music itself, Egyptian music, klezmer music, already exists in the world and is hugely popular and so moving and so ancient. So it was really important that the music of the cultures being represented was authentically presented in the musical.
Tell us about that character of Dina.
She is an Israeli cafe owner who is a bit world-weary and has kind of lost her spark and is sort of bored in her small-town life. And she becomes enlivened when she meets these Egyptian strangers and has to host them for the night. And so you get to see little glimmers of who was once this really passionate, sensual person that had a lot of dreams that sort of faded. So she seems to have a wall up at first, and the musical sort of chips away at that. So that's a really interesting character arc.
Yeah, I agree. It's beautiful to watch them come together, change, and then actually move apart because, you know, it's a fleeting moment in time, which is quite beautiful. Can you talk about what you think the audiences of Cincinnati will take away, especially emotionally, from this show?
I think one of the things that the show does really well is capture those magical moments in life that you can't quite name, like when you see a person that you don't know light up about something, when you learn something totally unexpected about a coworker or a friend, and they're such fleeting moments, they don't often get celebrated. And so to see those little tiny day-to-day miracles and also the tragedies that come along with them is so relatable, because that's drama that we experience every day and we just don't look at it.
What makes this show so special? Why did it resonate so much with all the critics and the fans?
I think it's unusual, and it brings a type of music and languages to the Broadway stage that don't normally find a home there. And so I think that excited people and got them curious about the musical. And I think it resonated because of the skill of the people involved and the kind of delicacy in the way that it was presented.
You know, we had been talking about this earlier. Orrin Wolf, who's one of the main producers of the show, talks about how this little show, which is really about bringing everyone together, which I think is so important in today's, in what's happening today. Like, let's not talk about our differences, let's talk about what makes us the same. And he says this little gem just opens up, and he wants the audience to just lean in and listen, and I think it does it so, so beautifully, and I think your song was a wonderful example of that.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for being here tonight.
My pleasure.
One more round of applause for
Yes,
Madison
one more round of
Medici.
applause.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. All right, are we tweeting enough? Are you Snapchatting? Are you Facebooking? I don't see those glowing screens
TikToking.
anymore.
Who's TikToking?
I guarantee you my daughter is right there. She's probably shot 2 of them already. Okay. So the band's visit will play the Aronoff for 1 week only in February. And subscribers, by the way, this is your 7th show option, one of your 7th show options, okay? So just keep that in mind to complete your package.
Or you can choose both of the options and just make it an 8-show package.
There you go. That's really the best of all worlds. Okay, all right, this next show, I'm going to be frank with you. It's not really a surprise, but we're going to make this announcement anyway. Don't put your phones down, though. Keep them up. Keep them up. In fact, we already announced that this one's coming. You know what it is, right? Next season, though, there is an even better chance for you to take your loved ones as well. That's the really key this time around, to be here in the room where it happens. Because Hamilton is back, y'all. Hamilton is back in Cincinnati in March of 2021 for 4 weeks.
That's right. Catherine is right. We are so thrilled to be able to tell you that subscribers will be able to get additional tickets this time around so you can bring all of your family and friends.
Suddenly, they're going to have a lot of friends.
Exactly.
You know?
And let's not forget that Cincinnati's own Andy Blankenbuehler choreographed this show, so we always want to support one of our own.
That's right. And you know the score by now, right? It features, you know, a hip-hop and jazz and R&B and Broadway, rap, you name it. Hamilton is the story of America then, told by America now, and it is unbelievable. Let's take a quick look at some of the footage from the show.
I'm past patiently waiting, I'm passionately smashing every expectation, every action's an act of creation. I'm laughing in the face of casualties and sorrow. For the first time I'm thinking past tomorrow. And I am not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. Hey, yo, I'm just from my country, I'm young, scrappy and hungry, and I'm not throwing away my shot. We're gonna rise up, it's time to take a shot. We're gonna rise up, it's time to take a shot. We're gonna rise up, rise up, it's time to take a shot. Rise up, take a shot, rise up, it's time to take a shot, rise up, take a shot, 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 hey, it's time to take a shot, time to take a shot, and I am not throwing away my shot.
All right, I can't wait. Who's with me? Right? And listen, I don't want to be one of those people, but I'm going to be. If you see it a second time, you see something completely different.
Oh, absolutely.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe the second time around how much more I noticed the choreography or the whatever, some tiny little dancer in the back, or it was just amazing. So please, if you've seen it once, you gotta come see it.
I also
again.
have to say, seeing it from different parts of the house,
yes.
I saw it from up above the last time that I saw it, and seeing that turntable and how the whole world moves, it's just a brilliant production.
That really, I agree with you, is the best place to see Hamilton is up here. Who's up there? Who's got their tickets? Yeah? You guys are in luck. All right. All right. So, yes, subscribers, Hamilton will be included in your subscription. But if you don't want to see it again, if you don't want to see it again, just let us know when you renew, and we will remove it from your package later in the process.
Okay. So, next up, you know, we usually specialize in bringing you the best of Broadway musicals, right? But our subscribers often ask us about plays, and I know last season we had The Play That Goes Wrong, right? Well, this year, I am thrilled to say that another fantastic show, play, is going back out on tour, and this is one very, very special production.
This one is going to be impressive. It's 1933, Macomb, Alabama. Maybe you know a young girl named Scout and her brother Jim and her friend Dill. They're headed here to Cincinnati, and they're about to see their lives changed forever.
Yes. All rise, as they say, for Academy Award winner Aaron Sorkin's adaptation of Harper Lee's Pulitzer Prize-winning masterwork, To Kill a Mockingbird, is coming to Cincinnati.
That deserves a round of applause. This new production has played to record crowds. You saw there, not an empty seat in the house, right? Sellout audiences in New York, and it'll be headed out on tour with Richard Thomas in the role of Atticus Finch, all right? John Boy, right? This production is also directed by Tony Award winner and prolific director Bartlett Sher, we've already mentioned tonight, who directed My Fair Lady.
Aaron Sorkin, you know, whose name many of us may remember because he is the writer behind The West Wing, A Few Good Men, American President, Social Network, and so many other TV and film things. Well, he has simply reinvigorated Harper Lee's story. And I have to say, guys, that this was the most incredible thing that I have ever seen. It is like you are hearing these words for the first time and meeting these characters for the first time. And he has put you right in the center of Tom Robinson's trial and presents Atticus Finch to us in a whole new light. It's like a man whose tragic flaw is his belief that goodness can be found in anyone, and you follow his journey where he discovers that that just may not be true. It's simply amazing.
And if you've watched, you know, The West Wing, Social Network, you know that real rapid-fire dialogue that Sorkin's known for. That's what you'll see in this. So it's a really interesting kind of dichotomy, this slow-moving southern town with this real quick dialogue. It's really interesting. It is unbelievable and unforgettable, I will tell you that. I got to see it on my recent trip to New York, and obviously Bob has seen it as well. You don't want to miss this one, I promise you. This is one you will tell your kids about.
Yep, I agree. Okay, so next up is another one-week engagement.
Yes, I'm excited about this one, I got to tell you. And subscribers, this is the other of your one-week options to complete that 7-show package.
Okay, we're going to turn back time a little bit here, right? And welcome you to the 60s. Anyone here remember the 60s? Right? Yeah, someone down here really loves the 60s. All right, well, I happen to love the 60s because it's the decade I was born in.
1969.
Hard to believe, right?
It was the latest possible. It was like December 31st of that year.
But seriously, it is that decade was so much fun, right? Colorful clothes, bell-bottom jeans, short skirts, platform heels, and great music and groovy dancing, right? And big hair, right? Y'all had lots of big hair, right? With lots of... That's what's coming back, guys. A brand new tour of Hairspray.
Woo! Yep, you can't stop the beat. It's the Tony Award-winning musical comedy phenomenon that inspired the movie and then the live television event. It's coming back here to this stage.
Featuring a beloved score that we know so many of these songs. Welcome to the 60s. Good Morning Baltimore. It Takes Two. And they're also, get this, they're adding back in the song Lady's Choice from the musical film adaptation. Okay, so what I think is really special about this brand new tour is they have brought back the original award-winning creative team of director Jack O'Brien, he's simply brilliant, and choreographer Jerry Mitchell. And I am just so excited that a whole new generation is going to get to experience Hairspray. Yeah. Let's have a look at what the creatives have to say.
I can't tell you how many people say, I wish we could see Hairspray again.
That's why you sing, that's why you dance, because the music inspires you.
It's just overwhelmingly joyful.
Hairspray's coming back, and you've got to see it. If you've never seen it, you're in for a treat. You can't stop the beat.
Hairspray is exactly what you need.
Damn.
It does. Cannot wait to see Tracy Turnblad up here again.
Okay, next up is one of the hottest shows on Broadway right now, and Cincinnati is going to be one of the first cities to get this show on tour. This brand new show got 12 Tony nominations, and it won the Tony Award for Best Choreography. And it's one that I promise you are not going to want to miss, right?
I'm going to drop some hints for you, okay? You ready? This show tells the story of one of the most impactful groups in history, And I can attest, it'll leave you wanting to dance in the aisles. People were singing and dancing during the show in New York just recently that we saw. The New York Times says it's pretty close to perfection. The Washington Post praised the music, the choreography, and said you'll love the way they move in hypnotically synchronized union. This quintet of men who made up the mightiest of Motown groups.
Look, I think you can guess. If you haven't guessed, yes, Ain't Too Proud. The life and time of the Temptations is coming to Cincinnati. Let's take a look.
I've got sunshine on a cloud day.
I think for your birthday, you should have 4 tickets to go see Ain't Too Proud on Broadway. Would you like?
It's one of the most buzzed about shows on Broadway. Ain't Too Proud is the story of the Temptations.
The story of the Temptations, the new musical Ain't Too Proud, celebrating one of Motown's most successful acts.
Broadway's smash hit new musical Ain't Too Proud, the life and times of the Temptations.
Incredibly talented cast of the smash hit musical Ain't Too Proud.
I know you wanna leave me, but I refuse to let you go. If I have to beg, plead for your sympathy, I don't mind, cause you mean that much to me. Ain't too proud to beg, as you know it. Please don't leave me, girl, don't you go. Ain't too proud to leave me, baby. Please don't leave me, girl, don't you go.
Could you have ever imagined 50 years ago that the Temptations would be on Broadway?
You could have tipped me over with a feather before I would believe this would be happening to my life.
Now I got a love so deep in the pit of my heart. And each day it grows more and more. I'm not ashamed to come and plead to you, baby. And pleading keeps you from walking out that door. It's just my imagination running away with me. Just my imagination running away with me.
Live from New York City, here is the cast of the sensational Tony Award-winning Broadway musical, Ain't Too Proud.
I can turn the gray sky blue. I can make it rain, whatever I want to. Oh, I can build a castle from a single grain of sand. I can make a ship sail on dry land. But my life's incomplete and I'm so blue, cause I can't get next to you. I can't get next to you, baby. I can't get next to you. I can't get next to you. Next to you, no matter what I do. I can't get next to you. Chicka boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, boom, boom. Let's do you.
How you do it? That is how you do it. Oh, that's how you do it right there. Go see Ain't Too Proud.
Do what Jimmy says. Come see
Right.
Ain't Too Proud.
So Ain't Too Proud is, it's not a concert. It's actually the real life story of the Temptations' remarkable journey from the streets of Detroit to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
You know, it tells a behind-the-scenes story of the brotherhood among the Temptations, family, loyalty, and betrayal, and the group's personal and political kind of conflicts that threatened to tear them apart during America's decade of civil unrest. And it includes, I'm telling you, every song you have ever heard of by the Temptations. Every one of them. It's awesome. It's incredible. And you see why people are dancing and singing, right? You've got My Girl, Just My Imagination, Get Ready, Papa Was a Rolling Stone.
You know, their rise to stardom, they created 42 top 10 hits, and 14 of those went right to #1. That's pretty impressive.
Unbelievable.
It's just incredible. So Ain't Too Proud was directed by Des McAnaugh, and he also directed Jersey Boys, so he sort of knows the source material. And it was choreographed by Sergio Trujillo, who also choreographed Jersey Boys, as well as Memphis and On Your Feet. And you got to sit down with Sergio when we were in New York
Listen,
recently.
you know, I mean, who else would interview a Tony Award-winning choreographer? I only have 2 left feet. No, this is what he had to say about that incredible choreography.
I know you wanna leave
My path to working on this show, creating the show, happened like 15 years ago. Des Aronoff, my director, and my frequent collaborator, who's an absolute genius, he had hired me to choreograph Jersey Boys 15 years ago. And when I was hired to choreograph Jersey Boys, I like to do research, and I like to study the period, I like to study the movement, I like to study the era, everything cultural, pop culture. But during that time, there was no YouTube. So I went to the Library of Film and Television here in New York. I tried to get my hands on any footage that I could on the Four Seasons because I was choreographing Jersey Boys. And I couldn't find anything, but I came upon a lot of footage of the Temptations. 15 years later, by the time I came to choreograph this show, I had done all of the research. It was all in my subconscious. And I made a serious, a very conscious decision that I was not going to recreate what they did, but what I wanted to do was pay homage to their work and to their choreography. It was important for me to look at dance through the lens of today. And so, but I also wanted someone who grew up with the Temptations, somebody who knew their music, and some people that have probably seen them live, to be able to look at them and say, wow, that's what I remember. But yet, for someone who's never seen them or heard them, especially the younger audiences, I want them to look at them and think, wow, that's very cool.
This is more than just dance and music. This has got a great story behind it as well.
This particular story will take you by surprise. And it provides great entertainment. It brings so much joy to the audiences, but it also has a really moving, heartfelt story. The music of the Temptations is the soundtrack of so many people's lives. I'm really excited about taking it on the road and having audiences see our show.
This story, obviously it's telling the story of the Temptations. How did you decide to help dance bring us along on the character development?
It was really Des who was, for the first time in any of our shows that we've done, he was insisted on having more and more dance, which always caught me by surprise because
you're like, that's fine with me.
I'll take it around because in Jersey Boys, he kept me reined in, and I was like this. I was like just revving to choreograph and dance. But in this one, because the Temptations come with the reputation of being the best dancing group, ever, I think that was a beautiful way of weaving in, threading in dance.
You've done all this research. What do you think made the Temptations so much fun to watch?
Their music, I think there's so much soul in it. And the melodies, you can't help but to want to dance, and that's the main ingredient of their success. I think you need to come see this show, because you're going to leave dancing.
He is one of the nicest guys you will ever meet.
And he was like a chemical engineering major in college or something. I'm like, what? How are you a Tony Award-winning choreographer? It's amazing.
It's just great. Well, I cannot believe we're here, but last, but definitely not least, it's time to reveal one of the shows that I'm so excited about, right?
Yes.
But I don't know about you, but is it getting cold in here?
I think it is. I think it's getting a little bit chilly. But back to the show for just a second. Are you ready to let it go?
So we just got done seeing Frozen, and it was honestly so incredible.
The most anticipated Broadway show opening of the year.
Ready to melt the hearts of fans.
The coolest Broadway show of the season.
Now the first look at Frozen on Broadway. We're backstage here at the St. James Theater.
It is the hottest hit in town.
Oh my gosh, guys, you would not believe what people are saying about it. We're actually going to Frozen on Broadway tomorrow for our first day.
Disney's Frozen is one of the can't-miss Broadway events of the season. There's 12 new songs, there's amazing special effects. It's got twice as much music as the movie.
Time to let it go.
It's taking Broadway by storm.
By the end of that show, I was clapping louder than anyone else in the audience.
Disney just did such a great job with this production. It's just amazing.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Frozen is coming to Cincinnati for 3 spectacular weeks in January. This all-new production was brought to the stage by an award-winning creative team, right? And it was led by the Academy Award winners, Jennifer Lee, who wrote the book. She wrote the book of the movie as well. And the lyrics and music are by Kristen Anderson Lopez and Robert Lopez. And then, of course, it's directed by Tony Award-winning Michael Grandage. It's just fantastic.
So it features all the songs you know and parents that you've heard 7,000,000 times. But there's something new for everybody. There's 12 new musical numbers. There's a little character backstory, little stuff we might be interested in talking about here in just a little bit. There's something for everyone in this show. It is unforgettable. It is magical. It is a Disney theatrical experience. You know what that's going to be like, right? So we saw this show just recently in New York. And again, when they said chills for Let It Go. I mean, I'm telling you, we've probably heard that song a million times. And still, chills for Let It Go. You can't help it. It's just amazing.
That's right. So tonight, we have something really special for you this evening. Alyssa Fox, who is from the Broadway company of Frozen, has flown here just for you guys. And she is going to sing a song that may be popular in your household. Maybe, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, it is with great, great pleasure and honor. Let's please welcome to the stage Alyssa Fox.
The snow glows white on the mountain tonight, not a footprint to be seen. A kingdom of isolation, and it looks like I'm the queen. The wind is howling like this swirling storm inside. Couldn't keep it in, heaven knows I tried. Don't let them in, don't let them see. Be the good girl you always have to be. Conceal, don't feel, don't let them know. Well, now they know. Let it go, let it go. Can't hold it back anymore. Let it go, let it go. Turn away and slam the door. I don't care what they're going to say. Let the storm rage on. The cold never bothered me anyway. It's funny how some distance makes everything seem small, and the fears that once controlled me can't get to me at all. It's time to see what I can do to test the limits and break through. No right, no wrong, no rules for me. I'm free. Let it go, let it go. Through the air into the ground. My soul is spiraling in frozen fractals all around. And one thought crystallizes like an icy bliss. I'm never going back. The past is in the past. Let it go.
Amazing. Alyssa,
Just
please come sit with
incredible.
us. Ah. Woo! Who's excited for Frozen now? As if you weren't before.
Wow. Okay, so where do we start from here? Okay, so to start, if anyone doesn't know the movie, I can't imagine anyone does not know this movie, but just in case they don't, and actually no, in all honesty, the stage musical is so much more than just that movie, which is an incredible movie.
It's much more,
Yeah, can you
yes.
talk a little bit
There
about
are-
Frozen the musical?
If you have had the soundtrack overplayed like all the time, you're going to be in for a treat because there are 12 new songs, brand new songs, just for the Broadway show and for the tour here that's going to be here very soon.
That's fantastic.
There's also, as I mentioned, kind of some new character development with a couple other characters. So even, again, if you've seen the movie 50,000 times, there's something new. And then you see it on stage, it just takes on a life of its own.
Absolutely. There are beautiful set and costume designs by Christopher Oram. And so they really took the costumes and the characters from the animated film and really brought it to stage and brought it to life on real life humans.
Well, also let's talk about, the creative process of a show never really stops, I think, in some
Absolutely.
ways, right? I saw the show in Denver, your pre-Broadway, and then I saw it on Broadway. But I know recently there have been some new changes that have been implemented on Broadway and also this new tour, which is out.
Absolutely. It actually started on the tour, but we recently did a big Broadway reboot of our show on Broadway, and we added a brand new song that you can't
Ooh.
even hear on the original soundtrack.
How exciting.
The
Yeah, it
original
is really
cast recording, yeah. So this is going to be one of the first places that gets to hear it.
Are you listening to this?
I
This
know.
is amazing. All right, we got to ask the question. You play Elsa.
I do.
Elsa, that's like one of the most iconic roles that could possibly be. How is this? How do you feel heading that stage every night?
It's really incredible. It's really incredible to step into a character's icy heels and be this powerful force. And Elsa is such, she brings all her anxieties with her, and they come out in ways that she does not usually expect, but throughout the love of her and Anna, they really come to find their real true love.
Yeah, which is really special. And no doubt, you should have no doubt. So this is a huge, huge Broadway musical with tons of special effects, and it's really a show for all ages, right?
Absolutely. We have a lot of people coming that are there for dates. We have a lot of people who get the tickets to the show for Christmas presents or birthday presents or any sort of gift, whenever you want to give a gift. I think it's always great to
Broadway
take them to
shows
see
are always
some
number one. You got
number
it.
one, and especially Disney magic shows.
Let's talk Disney magic. What a lovely segue. Okay, so we just recently here, the folks saw Lion King, and we were reminded of that wonderful magic. Tell us what we can expect to see when Frozen comes to town.
So there are a few very incredible moments that you will look at the stage and be like, wow, how did they do that? The first one is when Elsa freezes Arendelle. She turns the entire stage into an icy world. The proscenium starts as wood and it turns into ice. It's really, really incredible. And then at the end of the first act, during Let It Go, there is Elsa's iconic costume change. And don't blink or you'll miss it.
Literally.
Well, speaking of that moment in the show, I'm sure that's one of your favorites. But do you actually have a favorite moment in the show, like a favorite moment?
I would say Let It Go is the favorite. I think once that beginning tinkle of the piano starts playing, all of the audience members start whispering, and you can kind of feel the energy buzzing out there. So that's really neat to come on stage and be able to live in that energy with the audience.
Well, Alyssa Fox, this was wonderful. Thank you so much
My
for joining us.
pleasure.
Congratulations. And aren't we excited? Let's give her one more round of applause.
Another round of applause. She was amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And there you have it. Guys, you are chock full. Your 2021 Fifth Third Bank Broadway in Cincinnati season presented by TriHealth.
Yes, and we are excited to tell you that you can renew your subscription starting tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Okay, so I'm just going to go through this with you. Your paper invoices are in the mail. Once you get them, you'll receive them in the next couple of days. Go ahead and fill that out. You can mail it in. But the easiest way to renew is to go to our account manager online. Simply go to BroadwayInCincinnati.com. A few simple clicks will take care of you. You can also come here in person at the box office and we can take care of you. Or you can give us a call tomorrow morning and we'll happy to renew you starting at 10 a.m.
Yes, we want to thank you all for being here tonight. Be sure to use that hashtag Broadway and Broadway Cincy. Do that for us and tag us on all social media platforms. Listen, that beautiful song, yes, that was a treat, but I got another one for you. When you guys head out into the lobby, there are treats for you, and here's the best part. They are themed. Desserts are themed for each of the shows. Come on.
You're going to want to post that on social, right?
Also, free coffee, water, and sparkling wine. I don't know what's better. There you go.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
We look forward to an amazing season together.
Wanna leave me, but I refuse to let you go. If I have to beg and plead for your sympathy, I don't mind, cause you mean that much to me. Ain't too proud to beg, as you know it. Please don't leave me, girl, don't you go. Ain't too proud to, ooh, baby, baby. Please don't leave me, girl, don't you go. Now I heard a crying man is half a man with no sense of pride. But if I have to cry to keep you, I don't mind weeping if it keeps you by my side. Ain't too proud to beg, sweet darling. Please don't leave me, don't you go. Ain't too proud to, ooh, baby, baby. Don't leave me, girl, don't you go. Baby, if bleeding keeps you from